Well, hello once again. Happy Friday, New Age nerds. You good, very good people out there. I hope you are having an excellent Fly Friday today and an excellent week. It is me, once again, Shern Cutter Smooth, EP Digital, the Urban Astronaut, New Age Nerds, CEO and founder, Nanko Arrow, doing a lot of high technical things to put you in the air. And we're here once again on the Fly Friday to bring you the latest and greatest news on urban air mobility. You know, the new things in the sky and happening around the world. So, welcome once again. And what's new for this week? Something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. And it finally happened yesterday. Aluda, aka EXA, the EXA series happened. What is the EXA series? EXA. Well, I don't know what the acronym is, but it is a new day, a new dawn for motorsports. And I do mean racing cars of the future. What is that? Flying cars. Yes, people, the first aerial motorsports, however they're categorizing it, it is the first flying car race in the world. Yes, the EXA series. So we'll go ahead and roll this footage in which they did the first one. And of course, it was themselves versus themselves, right? Being the first few people to enter into the urban air mobility of flying cars of the future. And they raced their flying cars. And it seemed like a good, I don't know, 100-yard dash, maybe a quarter mile. I'm not sure what the distance was, but it happened very fast. Two of their vehicles, they had an Alpha and a Bravo, two different teams within the company, and they raced each other down a straightaway in the air. So you'll see here in a little bit, you'll see these vehicles, these flying cars, these flying racing cars come up off the ground, get into the air, and fly as fast as possible towards the finish line. And yes, it was something that I've been wanting to see for a long time. Actually, I cannot wait to race our vehicle against any contender. So it looks like there was only one race, this one drag race, and that was it. One heat, one race. That's all there is to the Air Mobility Olympics. And, there's a winner, and it was all good. That is the beginnings. This is the beginnings of flying car, motorsport, racing, right? So there will probably be more events, and whether it goes a sprint or a long distance or what have you, there will probably be more in the future. And I definitely look forward to more of that in the future. And that company is Aluda. They're down in Australia. So if you wanted to really take place in that race, you would have had to go all the way to Australia, meaning you would probably have to fly your flying car across the world to race your flying car against other flying cars. Now that's something in the future. Perhaps, how would you fly your flying car across the world? Something to think about. And that's advanced air mobility. Yes. All right. So what do we have next is, well, what to know when flying cars. Now, after you're racing and all said and done, and the next day you got to go to work. The races are over. Now we're back to regular life. Now, in regular life, once you get in the air, there are these things that kind of get in the way, right? I know I'm being ambiguous, but this is very important because it's cool to have this bird's eye view. You want to get in a car and you want to get above the traffic, get into the air. That is a nice bird's eye view. You see everything. You can get over the traffic. There's no obstacles. But there is something in the air with you, not other cars or other airplanes or other helicopters, birds. Yes, you would not be the only thing up there with the bird's eye view because there are birds, millions of birds all over the place. And yes, bird strikes are already a thing when it comes to the classical aircraft. So yes, many times birds run into airplanes and get sucked into the motors, and it may damage them, and sometimes it doesn't damage the aircraft. Birds hit helicopters, birds hit windows of buildings, birds just all over the place doing, kind of bird brain things. Shoot, even driving on the ground, I've had birds swoop down and hit the windshield, and I'm on the ground and birds are in the air. So when you get your flying car into the air, these animals, they may just get in the way. There are activists out there, environmentally friendly people, who are wondering when these flying cars get into the air, and we're not just talking about a few of these flying cars, but flying cars everywhere. What's going to happen to these birds? How will these flying cars deal with the bird impact? One, because that presents a very big safety concern. You got one bird, maybe okay. But as you see here, sometimes, and this is like during high traffic hours, during prime time, right? You're on your way home, and there's a whole bunch of people on their way home as well. And the birds are just flying around doing this around the city. Do you drive around? Will they move around? Will they, as a group or a swarm, fly into your vehicle? Now that presents a very big problem, because one bird strike would be okay. 10 bird strikes might do something to your equipment. And can your vehicle handle it? Now that is something to ask the manufacturer about. How well can it handle bird strikes, multiple bird strikes, a big bird strike? What will it do? Two, when it comes to, let's say, regulation, for the environmentally friendly people, are they going to stop urban air travelers from flying whenever birds are in the sky? They're going to protect the birds more than the sky freedom that we want to bring about. That would pose a problem. So it's something to talk to officials about, right? We're in Houston, and I know this flock, I can't remember what it's called, but it happens all over the world with different birds. It's not one type of bird that does this, many birds. And in Houston, we have blackbirds. A grackle of blackbirds really could just be posted up in the parking lot. Go ahead and roll that next video footage. In which in Houston, I've dealt with this a lot myself. When you just come out to your car, to the parking lot, you just see all of these blackbirds just all over the parking lot, right? And you wonder, what's going to happen. You start up your car and the bird just looks at you like, okay, well, I see you starting up your car, and the bird just continues on about its business, doesn't fly away. It is unbothered by you or your vehicle. Now, if I had a flying car and these birds were on my flying car, and I go to start up my flying car and suck up a few of these blackbirds at the parking lot, that may serve as a problem. And this happens every year around Houston. It is very common. It's weird. It's eerie. Like, what is going on? But birds, they're around. There's millions of them. There's way too many of them. And they're pretty intelligent too. They are used to modern humans. They are used to the things that are around, right? Food or what have you, or just a resting space, but they're all over the place. So taking off from the ground, which is where they are, and they're all flying around. And if one noise were to happen, you start up your engine and look, they just all fly around and just fly into your flying car. Something we're going to have to deal with. So in the future, to be determined and resolved on how we're going to deal with this bird situation, because this is something that's rarely talked about, but we're going to have to address directly. So what to know in flying cars: when you go to buy your flying car, just make sure it's bird proof, as well as there's some type of procedure in order to, I guess, eradicate the birds, or at least keep them at bay so they do not impact your car. You can't put eagles everywhere like the airport. Birds, they're going to be around. We're going to have to deal with them. It is what it is. Now, moving on to who is flying now. I like to keep an eye on what's happening in the industry. And for a while now, I have been following a guy or a group called the Human Drone Project. And I've followed them from their sketches and inception of them just thinking about, hey, is it possible to put a human on a drone? And what would that look like? So this engineer, looks like a retired engineer, Marcelo Levrado, developed the Human Drone Project to do just that. And he's come a long way, actually. They've built a single person aircraft in the backyard. And they've done a few good things. For the most part, it's simple as a drone, big propellers, and a little cage, roll cage on these propellers. Of course, it does violate our safety issue, right? That we've put together. There's certain safety guidelines that we like to follow. He may not have this, but he does have some other cool things. For example, this week, he just presented his, let's say, avionics system, I would call it, in which is a dashboard to, show you where you are in your system, right? Something I haven't seen developed just yet, something that is to be developed, and that's a pretty good product. For example, in those races in the Exa series, yeah, they didn't have anything. You're pretty much, well, actually, there was no human on board on that race, right? But if there was, what type of telemetry systems will they need? They will need a lot of data, but not too much to where it impedes in the control of this vehicle. Now, he's developed a nice little system, as you see here, with the controls similar to regular drone controllers, as well as he's built the, let's say, GPS and accelerometer system into that little thing there. So nice and simple, right? So that you can actually fly. And it shows you a whole lot of your elevation and your roll and everything that you need. Looks like on an iPad. So keep it simple, along with utilizing today's technology that we can implement very, very easy. So kudos to the Human Drone Project. I like where they are going, and we might want to include something like that on our vehicle or on the vehicles. And first time I've actually seen somebody's dashboard. Nobody else has shown their dashboard on their urban air vehicle, which leads me to believe they still haven't figured it out yet. Of course, this is all new. What information does a urban air vehicle pilot need? Something to know. All right. So, with all of this in mind, what do we have next? Well, what's next is Namco Aero. We are moving about as we develop our small scale models here. We are going to be showcasing, again, our models at a new event coming up next week. Next week is going to be Veterans. Veterans Day is coming up next week. And we're going to be a part of a, multiple veterans events. But this one, we're going to be demonstrating and showcasing our stuff to a group of veterans to see how they like it, because we have a few veterans on the team and we support our troops. So something to look forward to. We have a flyer here and we are going to send it out later. So if you are interested in showing up and showing some support to the veterans, especially in the Houston or Harris County area, it's going to be at Iowa County or Iowa Colony, right below Houston. It's going to be a pretty good time. So definitely come out, show your support some troops, show your thanks to the veterans on Veterans Day. And we'll be out there showing our urban air vehicle to see how it'll benefit veterans. Yes. Well, that's all we have today, good people. And I would like to leave you with some good things always. May you have an excellent weekend. Look out for new stuff coming next week. If you have any questions, definitely let us know. And I'm supposed to leave off with the question, but geez, I forgot that question. Actually, it just popped into my head. Well, I want to know, what will you do with your flying car? For example, do you plan to race with it? or do you plan to, rescue people? I want to know, what will you do with sky freedom? If you had the freedom of a vehicle to get into the sky, what will you do with it? Let me know. Reach out, whether in the comments of this video or just on a contact page on our website. I want to know that. And I'm going to leave you with that. Okay, people? Well, I'm gone, and that's all we have. Peace be upon you. Aim high, stay fly. I'm gone.